All right. What was Ty Berry coming in after coach started the opening season coach?
Well, it's good to see you guys. It was great to get back on the floor. You know, it was disappointing to not play Saturday afternoon. That was a game our guys were really looking forward to. And to get that news, to bounce back tonight and play with great effort. I thought we were a little bit rusty to start the game, but that was to be expected. You know, we hadn't played, I guess, one game in over the past 2 weeks. And so, I thought we did some good things early on. I thought their zone kind of got us a little bit stagnant in the first half. And then second half, I thought we played very well. I thought our defense, we were able to get out in the open floor. We got some dunks. We got, kind of wore them down over time. We got the ball into the paint, made some shots and guarded much better, I thought, in the second half. So overall, good win. It was really great. One of my goals coming into this game was to be in a position, hopefully, to have all of our scholarships play double-figure minutes. That happened, which was nice because we're going to need all those guys. We've been playing 9-10 guys, 10 guys, and Matt and Brooks are guys that we believe in. They're good players. They just haven't quite had the opportunity yet. And to see those guys get out there and do some things, I thought both of them showed, what they can bring to the table, and everybody's got to be ready, once we get going after the holiday break. And it was really cool. Before I answer, tonight, I didn't realize it until kind of before the game, but it was the first Big Ten ever game, officiated by a female referee. So to be a part of that, to me, is really cool. It shows kind of how far you see it in the NBA a little bit. You see it in other leagues, but, to have that happen here tonight, I told her late in the game, first of all, she did a great job, but secondly, to be a part of that history in this conference was pretty good. So congrats to Crystal Hogan. That's a good thing. And you're going to see her more because she does a really good job out there. So I'd be open up for questions.
Coach, first just wanted to ask, we know that you guys were obviously trying to get a replacement game for Saturday that didn't end up working out. Is there a possibility of adding another game to the schedule down the line?
Yeah, there definitely is a possibility. You guys would not believe what the frantic we were going through. Once we got the news, Thursday afternoon, we got the news that DePaul, had kind of been ravaged by COVID and wasn't going to be able to play. And, we were reaching out to people across the country to try to find something that would work for us. Thought we had a couple things going, at certain points, and even a couple really cool opportunities, that I thought, were on the table, and it just didn't happen, which was too bad. But we do have a game to play with now. We have one non-league game, and we'll kind of just see. We have a couple gaps in our schedule late in the year, where we have a little bit of a bye from the Big Ten schedule, and we'll just see who's available, kind of what's going on with COVID. We just don't know, but we do have some flexibility there if we're able to add a game down the road.
And then talking about the rotation, you mentioned you wanted to get all 12 scholarship players double-digit minutes tonight. That happened. You've talked a couple times about how you're going to need all those guys. Now, when you say that, do you mean we're going to have games where we rotate through 12 guys in Big Ten play or 10 or 11 guys, or does it mean we're going to need guys to step up in case of injuries?
Yeah, it's hard to say. I just think with the way the game is going, there's certain guys that have different skill sets. I mean, quite honestly, it's hard to play 11, 12 guys, just unless you're playing a trapping, running, system where you're 5 in, 5, that's just not how we play. But that being said, I want all these guys to have the confidence knowing that they can come into a game and help us. Matt Nicholson's a big guy. We're going to come into the Big Ten and have to play against guys like Zach Edey and Travion Williams and Kofi Coburn and down the line. I'm Trace Jackson. I mean, there's great big men in this conference, and we're going to need a guy like Matt Nicholson. Like you saw tonight, Ryan Young got in foul trouble. And we're like a game like that, all of a sudden you have a guy you can throw in that can come in and be physical and do some things. And Brooks is just really skilled. Like he's a guy, he can make shots. He's a skilled player. He got behind the 8 ball a little bit in the offseason. He had a foot injury. Then he got the flu real bad. And now he's strung together some really good practices. I thought he had a great week of practice, and I was anxious to get him out there tonight and see what he could do.
And then I wanted to ask sort of a bit of a non-basketball question here, but we know now that Northwestern is saying there's not going to be any in-person activities in school or otherwise until January 18th now. with no potential student attendance at games. Obviously, we don't know exactly how that's all going to shake out yet.
Yeah.
But mentality-wise, are you guys going to have to go back to last year a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, to be quite honest, I had heard that news like after the game. I guess kind of it broke out, right an hour before a game. Somebody said, but I don't before a game. I'm not on the phone and all that. So, I'll have to dive in. I want to talk to our administrators, kind of see kind of what the game plan is with that. First and foremost, we want to keep everybody healthy. That's, we want to stop this thing the best we can. We want our guys to be smart as players. We want to follow what people feel is going to be best to have that happen and to be safe. That being said, selfishly, obviously, I want students to come to games, and I want to be able to have those atmospheres. So, I'll have to huddle up with our people and kind of see what we're talking about and what that's going to look like and how that will affect us going forward.
Coach, congrats on the win. A name that's been talked about a lot recently has been Pete Nance. Mentioned as one of the biggest emergencies in college basketball. Could you just speak to a little bit? Obviously, he's been getting better and better, but it seemed like there was a pretty significant jump. What have you seen out of him?
Yeah, I'm really proud of Pete. And it's a great example. We're in such an instant gratification society right now, and he's a guy who came in. Obviously, his pedigree. His father's an NBA player, his brother, kind of like what I grew up with, so we connected on a lot of levels there. But quite frankly, he wasn't ready to be that guy. He was 190 pounds, he's 6'10", 190 pounds, and he needed to get stronger. He needed to build his confidence. He needed to improve his game. And over these past couple of years, that's what he's done. He's gotten in the gym, he's worked, he's now 225, 230 pounds. He's finishing better. His confidence is at an all-time high. I think we use him in a very unique way. He can bring the ball up the floor. We put him in the post. We play him in pick and rolls all over the place and kind of get him picking and popping, picking and rolling. And, I think he's a real dynamic player. He's kind of that new age big guy, that everybody talks about that can do a little bit of everything. But in order for us to do what we need to do, we need him to be elite. He knows that. Our team knows that. We need him to be an all-conference caliber guy, and I believe he can do that. He's put in the work. His game's ready. His confidence is there, and I'm really proud of where he's at right now.
And then a question on Chris Hamill. We saw at the end of the game, it seemed like Elijah. There was definitely a point where Elijah got fouled by Hamill. They had a little moment there, but saw Chase and Boo sort of talking to him after handshakes.
Yeah.
Just what is it like to play against a guy who, as you've been a coach, grew up literally in your backyard?
Yeah, no, Chris did a great job, and he's a great kid. He was around a lot this summer. He and Elijah have been best friends since 5-year-old kids, which is a great story. They grew up, played biddy ball together, junior high, high school, on those really good Evanston teams. It was great to be able to bring him back home and see him have some success. We won the game, which was good, but it was, I heard, he had a lot of people here. You could hear his kind of family and friends cheering him on, and he's a great kid, and our guys all know him, because this summer he was coming over a lot. He was working out with our guys. He was playing pickup. So it was a good thing. I'm proud of him. He's doing a really nice job for those guys, and hopefully he has a great year.
Coach, I want to ask you about Chase. We saw him fumbling over the scoring table and just showing so much hustle. What is it like to have him back, just energy-wise, and what he's bringing besides just basketball? Yeah,
no, Chase, we all know what Chase means. He's a two-way player. He's a tough-minded defender. He's active. He can get steals. He's another guy for us that can make plays. It takes a little pressure off of Boo and Pete to kind of be those primary guys all the time. You can play through him. He can get his own shot. He can find somebody, make a play for somebody else. And he just gives us an edge. He plays with an edge out there, which I like, and at times, we have to rein him in a little bit. He's had a few technicals here and there, but I'd much rather have that, someone who's got that fire and that passion, and our young guys feed off of him. So it's just great. I'm just happy he's getting healthier. I hated it, seeing him on the sideline, not being able to play some of those early season games, whether it be Providence or Georgia, or especially that Wake game. And, it's just great to have him back out there with us. He's a big key to what we're doing.
I wanted to go back to talk about, potentially adding that game. When you're at this point in the season, obviously, people outside the program, I don't know how much this factors into the way you guys think about it, but are already starting to talk about resume. Resume. That's what everybody's talking about at this point of the year. So when you now have an opportunity to do this thing that doesn't happen very often and schedule a non-conference game during conference play, how much does that idea of resume factor into it?
Yeah, I think it does. I think we've done a good job. We've put ourselves in the conversation by taking care. We let a couple get away from us against really good teams. I think both of those are going to, with playing those teams without Chase Audige, and losing one on the last second shot on a true road game, and playing Providence, the way we did, who's shown what kind of team they are. I don't think those are going to be crushing losses. We've taken care of business in our other games, which has been great. And I think you got to factor all those things in, as the season goes along, having the flexibility, as we get, do we do enough during the year where we feel like, hey, maybe we need one more marquee? Do we try to get, a high level, top 50 game, or, do we just need another win? Do we need to play somebody where we can try to get a win and things like that? So, I think you assess that as you go along, especially now with us having a little bit of flexibility. That's not going to happen before the holidays. We don't have the flexibility for that to happen before we get back to Big Ten play. So you're talking about maybe trying to fit it in middle to late January or a February gap, so I think it gives us time. And then who else loses games? Who else, can we find a common date? Obviously I'd love to play DePaul, and I know they would probably love to play. So we got to see, is there a date? There are two local teams. Can we find a day to play them? I think that would be, the ideal, replacement. I think it's a great game to play, but if that doesn't work, then we'll certainly be out there looking to try to boost and see what we need moving forward.
Anything else for Coach?
Thank you.
All right, guys. Thanks. Happy holidays to you guys. Yep.
Literally.
Yeah.
Go right into questions for Ty.
So an interesting week, obviously, when you guys lose the DePaul game, and then I don't know how much of this you guys were privy to, but Coach was talking about he was really close with a couple different teams on scheduling a couple different potential games, and then it ends up not working out, and you guys come to play this. How was that week mentally for you guys?
Yeah, it was a roller coaster for sure. We were excited to play the DePaul game, and then we just had to make some adjustments, and we just came in every day just to practice and to get better, and we didn't know what we were going to end up doing. So we just kept practicing, and every day at practice we just got better and just were focused on the next game.
Then tonight, it's sort of the same story that has been for you all year. You're confident in your shot and going to it and taking it, and you continue to hit threes in pretty much every game this year. So I just wanted to say, I want to ask, was it more, did you feel a mentality shift sort of in the off season? Because this year it's felt like, you always had that confidence in the shot, but it's felt like the shot has really started to consistently drop a little bit more this year. What do you attribute that to?
Yeah, I would say this off season I really focused on my shooting and trying to perfect it the best that I could, and just to continue every day that I'm in the gym, just to continue working on my shooting. Coach Collins, he does a great job. He always encouraged me to get in and get extra shots and to really perfect my shooting. So I really took that this off season.
And then to sort of get back to the COVID situation, I don't know how much you guys are thinking about this necessarily, but we're seeing COVID cases sort of spike on college campuses across the country, and we're seeing a couple teams sort of get hit with this, with a couple COVID cases and having to, not play for a game or two. So is there sort of an increased talk in the locker room about, maybe need to be a little bit more careful to make sure that doesn't affect you guys, or how are you guys handling that? Is basically
yeah, for sure. COVID is affecting a lot of people, and our team, we're just just like everybody else, we just want to stay cautious. And anytime we're out in public or in large gatherings, just to keep our mask on and just to protect everybody that we're around. So just to be cautious everywhere we go.
I want to ask about that defense you saw tonight. It was kind of an interesting little trap thing going on. What adjustments did you guys make, and how did you respond to it?
Yeah, they did a great job throwing that 1-3-1 at us. But we thought that they might do that. So at practice, we walked through that a little bit. But it is a different defense that we haven't really seen much this year. So basically, to attack the middle and to get open looks on the outside perimeter, and then to also throw it in. I thought our guys did a really good job of attacking the game plan when we went over that.
Not sure how much you were able to see given that you were playing, but the university sent out a memo that there won't be any in-person classes from starting January 1st to January 18th. How do you expect that to both affect you as a student athlete, and then also assumedly not having students in the stands? How is that going to impact you?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't hear about that until I guess just now. So I mean, it was like that for us last year. So I mean, we're a little used to it. But it definitely hurts that we can't have fans in here. But after last year, I mean, it's just another adjustment that we'll have to make.
Another thing they announced is that there's going to be boosters required for all students. So I guess just as an athlete, how do you sort of go about approaching that, like timeline-wise? Are you thinking about, okay, I might have some side effects I need to plan my training around, or are you just going in?
Yeah, so a good thing, our team docs around here are giving boosters to us. Actually, like I'm gonna go get one right after this. But it's important. I mean, we just want to be careful and protect all of our teammates and keep our circle together. So I think we're just gonna do it as soon as we can. Anybody, but it's whatever.
And getting back to basketball for a second, you know, going into Big Ten play now, you know, one more non-conference game for you guys before Big Ten play starts again. But it feels like, you know, the most momentum that this team has had in a little while as they approach Big Ten play. I mean, obviously last year there was a little bit of a run, but this year, you know, stringing some wins together now. How does that affect the way you guys approach it? You know, coming in with a big game against Michigan State. I know that's still a little while away.
I mean, we just take one game at a time, and just to focus on the opponent that we have ahead of us. And I think our team is older now, and we've been through it, so we kind of know a little bit what to expect. And you know, just to keep our head down and just to keep it pushing every game, one game at a time.
Anything else for Kai? Awesome.
Appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, John.
Thank you.